Hi, I'm Laurel Stevens. I'm sharing with you today a poem that I wrote called Love Shouldn't Hurt. I wrote this in January of 2000, shortly after I escaped from a violent marriage with my 5-year-old son. Love shouldn't hurt. Pain so deep it bubbles in my soul like acid. Fear so strong it permeates my bones, turning them to ice, and it sits upon my chest, preventing my breath, my scream. Words that whip through my heart like sharp blades. Hate so fierce it winds its fingers around my throat and squeezes. Anger whirls around me in a tornado I cannot prevent, control, or cease. A sick, secret shame engulfs me, drowns me, and it keeps me silent. Love shouldn't hurt. Any feeling of love has hemorrhaged away with each blow, with each wounding word, until my love, my blood, my tears have disappeared. My identity is gone. I'm no longer who I was before. I'm a shell of a person and a hollow, empty, lonely void inside. Any happiness I felt has been sucked dry by the parasite who dwells with me. Love shouldn't hurt. I hate who I see in the mirror. I don't even know who she is anymore. I can't bear to see my reflection, but I must look deeper. I see weakness. I see a spineless, pitiful fool. I see someone who is too afraid to say stop. I see someone who is too afraid to leave. I see someone who is bruised and battered, whose clothes are ripped and tattered. I see someone with no soul, no courage, and no strength. I see someone who is too scared to cry or scream or shout anymore. I see someone who can only shed a tear and shake and accept the blame for fear of it starting again. I hate that person in the mirror. I hate the reflection of someone who isn't me, but in fact it really is. Love shouldn't hurt. I didn't think love was supposed to be like this. I never thought the person I met so long ago would bloody my nose and rupture my ears. I wouldn't have imagined he'd throw me to the floor by my hair and kick me again and again. I never dreamed he'd strike me so hard that I could see only blackness and streaks of lightning. I couldn't have known the person who said he loved me would be the person that would scare me so badly I would urinate my clothing like a pathetic animal. I didn't know the scars inside would be the ones that hurt the worst and be the hardest to heal. He broke things I treasured, things I cared about, and threw them at me, slamming them to my body. He screamed and yelled at me so loudly I can still hear his voice in my head and my nightmares. He broke my heart, stole my spirit, myself, and my soul. Somehow he made me believe it was my fault. I believed it, I accepted it, and did nothing. And it happened over and over and over. Love shouldn't hurt. But one day I looked in the mirror. I looked deeper with more discerning eyes, and I saw something. Beneath the layers of pain, sadness, guilt, and darkness, under the sediment of shattered hopes, dreams, and promises, I saw something else. I looked harder and I saw a spark, yes, a glimmer of light. I fought through the tears and battled through the tremors. I pushed past the scars and cut away the cobwebs, and there in the darkest depths of my existence, I grabbed a hold of the flame and gently drew it out. I was so cautious, so careful for fear of extinguishing it, and when I opened my quaking hand, I gasped at the sight before me. For there in my hand I held a cocoon, pulsating with light and life. I closed my eyes and opened them again to see my reflection. Somehow, somewhere, I saw strength and courage in my eyes again. I found the will to survive, succeed, and prosper. My gaze returned to my warming hand, and there unveiled was the most beautiful, exquisite butterfly. It was so alive, so colorful, so happy, so peaceful, and above all, free. I gathered myself in its presence, pushed back my fear, and left without turning back, without a tear. I basked in the knowledge and discovery of life, real life, not the nightmare I had known. I did not deserve it. I did not have to accept it. I could do something. I could choose life. I could transform myself from this empty cocoon to a brilliant butterfly. Love shouldn't hurt. Real love doesn't hurt. Counterfeit love will never hurt me again. I'm a butterfly reborn. I have a new chance at life. I am free.